Hello again, whiskey friends. Welcome back to the lounge. So I am so excited today. We're going to be doing an 8-year taste off as a follow-up video to my good buddy Jeffrey's take on these 8-year-old/7-year-old whiskeys. And we're going to be introducing a new cigar pairing for you guys to try with it that I think each one of these brings something different out in the cigar. And I think it will be fun for you. Let's kick it off, man. All right, welcome back, whiskey friends. Let's get into this. I'm super excited about this one. So this is a video to Jeff's video about these particular bourbons that have come out within the last year, around the same proof, similar prices, and I think you'll be surprised by some of the differences that the cigar will bring out in these. So let's get into it. First off, we're talking about this Old Granddad 7-year bottled in bond. Shout out to my good buddy Top Jimmy for helping me get this bottle. Secondly, New Riff has been Jeff's love for a long time. And when this thing came out, wow, just wow. 8-year New Riff, bottled in bond, 100 proof. This thing is freaking great. Now, New Riff has been one of those that's kind of been up and down as far as like what they've been putting out, but man, they've been like hitting it on point for the last little bit here. Lastly, if I'm going to talk about something, it's going to be turkey. So here we go, guys. This is the 8-year that was released in the United States, 101 proof. Now, this was the follow-up to one of my favorite bottles this past, or I guess last year, which was the Jimmy's 70th. Man, I couldn't find enough or buy enough of that thing. I am loving that. So let's get into the tasting notes first. We'll go through each one on the nose, each one on the palates. And right before we do that, let's check out and hear from our good friends over at Drifting
You
Drams.
might hear about Drifting Drams from our barrel picks. But not only do they know whiskey, they know coffee even better. Katie and Ethan are always bringing in the best coffee they can for this community. And if you enjoy coffee or you are curious about getting into good coffee, you need to check out Drifting Drams. Fancy coffee for regular people. So check out their website to support a small business that is passionate about what they produce. And they will forever change the way that you look at coffee.
All right, welcome back, guys. So let's get into the nose on these. First, we're going to do the Old Granddad 7. So let's get in on the nose. So this one is not as cinnamon forward as what you would remember Old Granddad being. I remember that high rye kind of being more cinnamon. This was actually more sweet, a little bit more caramel centric in the nose. And so it kind of pairs well with some of the cigar notes that you're going to get out of this thing. So not a lot of oak, but a little bit in the very end of the nose. And then finally, it gets just a teeny tiny bit of apple. So that's going to be fun as we pair this. Secondly, we're going to be going to the New Riff 8-year. So New Riff 8-year, wow, that's a really different profile. I'm trying to think about, I don't remember it doing like this before. So this one's down probably half the bottle for air. So what I will say is this one's changed a little bit on me in a good way. This one's a little bit more like Granny Smith apples up front. It's still sweet up front like the Old Granddad 7, but what I find most interesting about this is the ability that New Riff has taken from when they first started to where this 8-year distillate is ended up on the nose is crazy good. This one has a little bit more oak on it in the presence of the nose. Let's check out the 101 Turkey, which is, my favorite brand. Let's check it out and see how it compares. So this one's a lot brighter, a little bit less punchy in the nose, like as far as what's coming off of it, a little bit more muted. Some of the rye is coming across more floral, which is interesting. I don't remember getting floral on this on the first tastings of this. So we'll get into, a little bit of the oak is coming across more like a little bit of newer oak, like pencil shavings that Jeff and I sometimes get with that. Yeah, still the same on the nose. So right up front, I'm taking small sips with this one because it seems to be a better experience for me. You get a lot of those caramel notes that I was getting, the sweetness up front. Mid palate, you're getting just a little bit of that rye spice, but not a lot. And then it kind of falls off a little bit towards the end. Let's go in for a second sip and see how consistent it is. proof point on this, I think, is really what helps this. I know most people like the 114 and the bigger proof, but for this particular profile, being softer and being a little bit sweeter, I think that that proof point really helps it out. Let's go to the 8-year new Riff. Here we go. Again, this is getting sweeter the more it sits. So here we go. Tasting notes on the 8-year. Okay, more viscous on the palate. It's coating my mouth more. Still sweet. This one actually kind of hits the rye spice on the outside edges of your tongue, where sometimes you'll get wheat. Sometimes I get wheat on the outside edge of my tongue, and then the finish sticks around a lot longer than the 7-year does. I'm still tasting that finish. Let's go in for a second sip and see how consistent we are here. Okay, yes, very consistent. The rye spice is coming more towards the center on the second sip, and the barrel notes are coming through more on this particular pour than the first one. This one's more of a complex, more rounded flavor profile to me than the 7-year. Cheers to you. Sorry. Let's move on to the Wild Turkey 8-year 101. There's that rye kind of citrusy note up front with turkey that I get. Even though it's not a rye, those kind of citrus notes make me think of their rye. Wow, coming off of that 8-year, this one seems really flat. Let me go in for a second sip. So yeah, second sip's a little bit better. Although all around, the 8-year has pretty much outshined these other two. This one's really flat on the palate. Like not a lot going on, not very complex, which is unfortunate that they're putting this out as their first US release, but new Riff, big surprise here for some people maybe, but not for me and Jeff. Jeff loves this bottle, and I can see why. It's very viscous, it's well-rounded. Between the three and the price points, I think we're at 36, 49, and 38 or 40 for the Wild Turkey on the price points. Definitely be seeking out these new Riff 8-years that are on the shelves, because let me tell you, there's something special going on at New Riff that's occurring. And Jeff is going to and did a video on the 10-year releases this year. So make sure you check out those. Let's move into the cigar pairing. So this for the cigar pairing, I've got the Perdomo 20th anniversary Maduro, and this is what they call a Bellicoso style. See that little torpedo tip on the top there? That's a Bellicoso style or size. With this particular cigar, it's really going to enhance the sweetness of that particular pairing with this OGD if you go with that one. It's already a little sweet. It's going to enhance that. It's also going to add some more spice into it to try to balance it out. Now, with the particular 8-year, what this is going to do is going to provide a little bit more depth on the deeper, darker notes that this provides, especially on the barrel influence of the whiskey. And I would say you don't have to really change how you sip this one, big, little. You kind of get the same experience with the 8-year new Riff that you didn't get when you take a smaller or bigger sip with the old Granddad. And lastly, with the 8-year 101 Turkey, I really think this is going to help bring out the citrus notes that I particularly like about Wild Turkey. But also, I think it's going to amp up a little bit more of that proof point where the rye spice is going to come alive a little bit more in your mouth and really provide a much better experience than the whiskey does just by itself. So recapping for everybody, check out the new Riff 8-year bottled and bond 100 proof with the Perdomo 20th year anniversary Maduro cigar. This is found just about anywhere that they have Perdomo cigars. So I'm looking forward to your comments. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. If you're new to the channel, let us know what you think about this new content and how we can do better. And if you tried this pairing, come back and tell me what you think and which one was your favorite. I can tell you right now that the new Riff was definitely the most fun experience out of all of the three, even with the cigars. However, this one cigar changed completely from each one of these whiskeys. So that's the fun part about doing cigars and whiskeys. Thanks so much for sticking around, and we'll see you here next time.
Thank you for watching Hello Again, Whiskey Friends, everybody. A big shout out to our amazing Patreon community. If it wasn't for you, we couldn't continue to produce the content and barrel picks week after week. And for everybody else out there, be sure to hit that like and subscribe. It really helps the channel more than you know. And we'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody.